Hi everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, still afternoon here. This is Anna and Daily Juice. How you guys been? I hope you enjoyed Money Day yesterday. I had a lot of fun talking about rich habits. Well, today I want to talk about something I call chicken or the egg concept. And as you happen on here, please say hello. Let me know you're here so I can properly welcome you. Hi, David. Awesome to have you here. Okay, chicken and the egg concept. Now, this month going forward, or for the next couple of weeks, hi there, I wanted to talk about debt. And I have a couple articles in the works and really just kind of covering debts from the very basics to building up on all kinds of concepts. And not just credit card debt, but student loans, mortgages, and things like that. So that's kind of the plan going forward. But I want to start with something I think really simple that everybody can take first steps and start mastering right away, right? And this concept of chicken or the egg, so it came from, I was listening to a podcast a little while ago, and it was kind of, discussing the idea of how, and this is a real challenge in this country, right? How so many people struggle with debt and how hard it is, and managing and sort of balancing this act of where do you devote your extra income and savings, and looking at the younger generation, right, of millennials, where student loans is sort of the priority. Hi, Greg. Thanks for joining. He used the concept of chicken and egg, and he was relating to the ideas that how do you decide what to focus on first? If you've got debt, whatever it is, we're not talking about specifics, but just in general, and you've got other priorities that you want to save for, what do you focus on first? And so the chicken and the egg was that analogy he used. And I liked it, it caught my attention, but then I started to think about it, and the question that I want to answer, how to look at that, it's not that who or what came first, right? The chicken or the egg. It's how can we as educated consumers be smart with both our eggs and our chickens, right? With our savings and our abilities to be able to pay our debt if we have that. And in my previous episodes, a number of times I talked about something I refer to as a curveball account, or in plain terms, just an emergency fund. And that's kind of where you start balancing, right? The chicken or the egg, and you've got so much available cash, right, or income that you can devote to both of these items in your financial plan or your financial life. Now, how do you make priorities, right? And what I don't want to see happen, and I advocate for this to all clients, actually even having a discussion earlier today with a client who has student loans, right? So help me decide, that was the question, on what do we need to focus and where do we devote our resources. So as you're looking at this, what I would like you to think about is this. Can we, when we know what our discretionary income is, or how much money is left over at the end of the month, and I hope you guys are following our money dates to kind of know where your spending is at, to kind of know where your income comes from, and if your savings are on target. So you should know what your discretionary income is. And then once you identify what that discretionary income is, what I would like to advocate with this chicken and egg concept is that you put both on the same level, sort of the same priority level. That means that whatever the discretionary dollars you have left over, you divide that in half to take 50% of that amount. Let's say you have $500 left at the end of the month. $250 goes into funding your curveball account or emergency fund, and the other $250 goes into funding paying down your debt. Okay, so it's a even split. And you can argue with me if you want that maybe perhaps you're better off focusing more on paying down your highest interest debts, whether they're credit cards or student loans or mortgages or whatnot, automobile notes. But I can argue with you back that yes, that's probably a good strategy, but to a point, because as you know, life happens, emergencies come up. And I mean, just even with the recent news, look what's happening in the world with hurricanes and how people, just things like that. That's, very extreme case, but still, I don't want you to find yourself in a situation where you've worked really hard to get out of debt, paid it all up or almost all of it, and then life happens and you don't have proper emergency reserves, right? So you back to that juggling idea of the chicken or the egg. And if you stick to the idea that we sort of focus on both at the same time, that if emergency arrives, you'll be prepared to handle it, right? At the same time, you're going to be working on paying off your debts. That's kind of the direction I want to go. So going forward, we'll talk more in details about the different kinds of debts and some of the suggestions and recommendations I have. But at the very least, okay, I'd like you to start thinking that way. Please, this is the most basic concept that I can teach you. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining. It could be applied not only in your personal finances, but it could also be applied, Laura, you're a business owner, in your business as well. You've got to have emergency reserves because you never know what could come up. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. I've got to run to a meeting. Thanks for tuning in, and you take care. I'll see you tomorrow.